In that speech, you say Donald Trump is a good man. Do you still believe he's a good man?
Well, look, I truly do believe that only God knows our hearts, and I'll leave it to others to make their own judgments.
Certainly not all religious folks, but public figures who happen to be people of faith love to hide behind their religion. And in this case, you saw former Vice President Mike Pence using religion to provide cover for his pathetic cowardice, his unwillingness to just state the obvious about former President Donald Trump. And we should take a look at the exchange with more context, so let's take a look.
I want people to know that you include some of your past speeches in this book and an appendix in the end, including your 2016 convention speech in Cleveland accepting the vice presidential nomination. In that speech, you say Donald Trump is a good man, not just that he was the man for the moment or the right man or a strong candidate, but a good man. Do you still believe he's a good man?
President Trump was wrong on January 6th. In arguing that I had the authority to overturn the election. But I'll always be proud of the record that we created for the American people, Steve.
While you're proud of the record, you didn't just call him a good man again.
Well, look, I truly do believe that only God knows our hearts, and I'll leave it to others to make their own judgments.
What happened to masculinity in this country? What happened to the men? It's the feminists' fault. I'm sure it was the feminists who made former Vice President Mike Pence the pathetic coward that he presented himself to be in that interview. So look, let me just get through this because you have Republican politicians, public figures who are still afraid of Trump. Then you have people like Kari Lake who post these incredibly embarrassing videos just worshiping Trump and probably hoping that Trump will pick them as their VP pick. Let's take a look at this video that Kari Lake, who lost her gubernatorial bid in Arizona, posted on social media recently.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
If tomorrow I am asking you to choose greatness.
I just want to say that this is my honor.
You are so lucky, President.
Stars to
Are you Batman?
Stands for freedom.
The greatest jobs president that God ever created. You're gonna have jobs.
I love this guy right here.
Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." He said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Okay, so she posted that online to show her admiration for Trump. But how do the voters feel? Cenk, we've been asking that question on the show.
Yeah, so real quick, before I get to the voters, Mike Pence is the world's biggest coward. That's so obvious. He tried to get you killed. And you are still struggling with whether saying he's a good man or not. And how do people not see how fake he is? Well, I'm gonna let God decide. He's so obviously fake. Anyways, so with all this, so you can tell Republican politicians, including the ones he wanted murdered, are still afraid of him, okay? And now there was a bunch of polls that came out right after the midterms, and it was from like shady groups, and like some were literally by Republican donors saying, "Oh, Trump's in big trouble. DeSantis has caught him. DeSantis has passed him." And some were legitimate like YouGov, but a lot of them were like super shaky. Now an Emerson poll has come out, and they're a real polling organization. Yeah, Trump nationwide leads DeSantis 55 to 25. He still has a 30-point lead. Mike Pence, by the way, at 1%.
I'm shocked there's 1%.
Yeah.
Like what, really? Yeah. Why?
So if you think he's gone, he's not gone. And it doesn't mean that he's gonna win, but it's gonna be a lot tougher to get rid of him than you think. So a lot of those Republican politicians pretending to be tough guys now are gonna turn around and kiss his ass again.
100%, yes, I totally agree with that.